Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Bob Diener, he's our guest. You know Hotels.com. You may not know Bob because he was too busy making money because you knew about Hotels.com, but which is a phenomenal website. Love it. I know I've used it many times over the years. Well, he's at it again with a website called Getaroom.com, and we're going to be talking about that, about Bob, and much, much more here in this segment. Bob, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. It's great to be with you. And, you know, people always ask me, why'd you get back into the business? You know, I had a non-compete for 5 years. I was sitting around on the beach and then decided after when non-compete was over to jump back in. But, you know, it's in the veins. I love what I do. You know, there's always new ways to come up with value for consumers and for our hotel partners. And that's what we did with Getaroom.com. We figured out some new ways to do it, and we're going through the roof now.
Yeah. Well, Hotels.com was literally a pioneer in your industry. Before we go into Get a Room, because I know that's what you're passionate and want to talk about, tell us about the Hotels.com story first.
Well, sure. I started in 1991, and we actually started it with $600 each. I have a partner, and I chased him for about 5 years to get the $600. But that's what we started with, and it was before the Internet. So we were basically what you call a bucket shop, and our concept was that we would take excess rooms for hotels that they couldn't sell and create a central marketplace for consumers to call and get rooms, because at that time there was no Internet. Well, in 1995, if you can believe it, we saw this technology called the Internet. You know, nobody knew what it was. Hotels certainly didn't know. But we embraced it, and we built our first Internet site called HotelDiscount.com. And just in a short while later, the Internet went in 1997 when IBM came out with their technology to link the Internet to their mid-frame systems. That was the Industrial Revolution for us, because that meant that now we could actually take a reservation on an automated basis, instantly get a confirmation, and sell to people all over the world. And so that's what happened, and we started, we were doubling and tripling every year. You know, we had great triple-digit growth for years. And we actually didn't change the name to Hotels.com till several years later. We actually went public under the name Hotel Reservations Network in the year 2000. And in 2002, we acquired the name Hotels.com. And then I started a TV campaign, and I figured out a way to do it at low cost. I actually became the writer, producer, director, and actually acted in the commercials to keep costs down.
Wow!
You know, it's all about keeping the cost down.
Absolutely, because you want all the savings to go to the hotel rooms.
Well, that's right. You want the savings to go to the consumers, and we want to have enough. Also, of course, we want to keep a profit. But we worked really on volume, and that's how we did it. We found that we offered consumers great deals. We offered ease and convenience, and it really exploded. And we went from basically a site that was unknown to about an 80% household awareness in about 9 months. I don't think that's ever been done before. So that's what we did. And then in 2003, we decided it was time to move on. We couldn't grow at triple-digit rates anymore, and our parent company wanted to buy out the rest of our interest. So we sold the rest of our interest in late 2003, transition management, and the company actually merged with Expedia. And then we had a non-compete for 5 years, and sat around the beach, and my wife wanted to get me out of the house. And the economy changed again. We went from a really strong, robust economy, but the Great Recession hit, and hotels were looking for new sources of distribution for their product, and consumers were looking for new ways to book hotels. Now, we created what the current model is today, which is called the merchant model, which is the way that most consumers book hotel rooms today. And the models really didn't change much between the time we sold Hotels.com and the time we started Getaroom.com. So we figured out some new ways to do it and some new ways to save consumers money. And we created a couple of new models with Getaroom.com, and we launched it just 5 year ago. We hit our 5th year anniversary just in May. And our numbers are great. We're growing. We're profitable. and we created some real niches in the marketplace right now.
Yeah. Now, I have a lot of questions, so forgive me if you feel a little rushed by me, but I want to talk now a little bit about Getaroom. Obviously, you had a passion, you had a wealth of knowledge, it made perfect sense to go into it, but you go into it with a plethora of competition out there. Cheap hotels, Hotels.com, of course, there forever. Who doesn't do this these days? How did you differentiate yourself, or how are you differentiating yourself?
Right. Well, it's all about the value proposition, and we're very aware of the competition, but there's also pockets of the hotel business that nobody's touched. For example, almost every company that's out there in travel has outsourced their call centers overseas, India, Philippines, South America, and so the quality of call centers has really gone down. And we decided to build a totally domestic call center and create the best call center in the industry, so those that want to still call about the hotel reservations or have questions can call us and get a real top experience instead of having a poor experience in the contact center. And then what we did is we went to hotels and we said, look, we've got a really robust call center. Give us better rates that you don't want to show online, and we'll hide them in our call center because we're building a big call center business. And what we do now is we call this unpublished rates. And the way it works is that you do all your research online, you go to Getaroom.com, you figure out what you want, you do your homework, you find the hotel you want, and then you take just a minute and call us and say, this is the hotel I want, you have an unpublished rate, and we'll tell you whether we have an unpublished rate there. And it typically will be 10 to 20% less than the lowest rate you can find online, but sometimes as much as 60% less. And so we figured out a way to give consumers a great experience, to give them great customer support, and at the same time, get better deals for consumers, and you still spend 90% plus of your research and time online, and we send you back to the line for directions, anything else you need. But you can call us, ask for an unpublished rate, and typically get a much better rate than you can find anywhere on the web. So that's one of the models that we created. We also created something called flash sales, and this one's fairly new. And the way this works is that hotels give us better rates for short periods of time. So it can be anywhere from 2 hours to 24 hours, and the discount can be anywhere from a few points to 60% off whatever the lowest rate on the internet is. You can stay whenever you want. The trick is you have to book it during the flash sale window. And the reason this works so well is because most consumers will go to a site, they'll shop for travel, they can't make a decision. They'll come back 5 or 6 times before they make a decision. But with a flash sale, the rate is so good and you're under time pressure to book the deal that people book it right away. So hotels love it because they have a guaranteed sale. They fill up a lot of their occupancy. We sell a lot of rooms. Consumers get great deals. It doesn't conflict with pricing guarantees because it's there for such a short period of time. And so we created this flash sale model, and it's really growing by storm. We have about 30,000 hotels participating in it. And you can go to our site, and you'll see little clocks will tell you how much time you have left, or you'll see the regular online lowest rate slashed out and a better rate. And I'll tell you, you've got 6 hours or 24 hours, whatever it is, to book this deal. And if you book it during the window, you save a ton. If you don't, it's snooze, you lose. Then the rate's gone. It goes back to the lowest online rate and not the flash sale rate. So we've created a couple new and different models that let consumers create excitement because people love different ways to book. But most of all, people love to save money, right? Who wants to pay full price?
I
and
sure
so
don't.
We created some, right? So we
I never pay full price. Believe me.
It's terrible to pay full price.
It is. It's foolish. It's so let me ask you, so when did Getaroom get launched?
So we launched it in 2009, in May of 2009. So we just hit our 5th year anniversary, and we're growing at a tremendous rate. We're up to, overall we have about 90,000 hotels participating. Many in North America. We cover most of Europe. We're in the Middle East. We're expanding in South America and Asia right now. So it's we're still fairly early in our growth cycle, but we are profitable. We're growing at good rates, and we're going to continue to figure out new ways to give consumers deals. Because people get frustrated. They go to site after site and they see the same rate. And people used to say to me all the time, Bob, how do I get a better deal? Everywhere I go, it's the exact same rate. And hotels want it that way because they want to have the same rate consistent. But there are ways to get better deals. You just have to know how to do it, and that's what we're doing at Getaroom.com.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I noticed here you talk about it at the website, Getaroom.com. You talk about partners. Are partners important in growing your business?
No, partners are very important, and we have some very good partners that are out there that use our inventory. So our partner network is excellent and expanding, and we really have a couple of facets to our business. We have our kind of call center on published rate business. We have our mainstream site, Getaroom.com, and we supply inventory to a lot of partners. We supply technology to a lot of partners, so they can offer special programs for their membership groups or their companies. So yes, the partnerships are very important. We spend a lot of attention on it, and it's all about creating a great experience, great value. And what's great about this, the travel marketplace, especially lodging, we're really focused on the lodging industry. It's $600 billion globally.
Wow.
It's about $120 billion in the U.S. So, we only need a couple of percentage points, the lodging industry, to do very well. We don't need half the market. This is a market that's so large. It's so competitive. There's over 50,000 hotels just in the U.S. In a city like Paris, there's several thousand hotels. So it's a very competitive industry. Everybody wants the business, and so that creates the dynamics for entrepreneurs like us that can figure out ways to really give everybody. We're the middleman between the hotels, our partners, and the consumers.
It's really interesting.
Just have to figure out.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say it's very interesting how you really want the consumer to call. It's so contrary to the way everything is done these days.
All right. Well, it sounds counterintuitive, but it's a way to get a better deal. It's a way to hide the better rates. And we're very efficient in the call center. So our average talk time is not very long, so we're able to do it efficiently. And we close just about every other call that calls us. So,
wow.
It's not a typical call center that, maybe they'll close 10 or 15%. We close, half the calls plus. So it's a very productive call center. And people love the experience because they develop a relationship with an agent that knows the properties and get a better deal. And overall, it's a tremendous customer experience.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. It's kind of old school, yet also very modern, very competitive. It's indicative of the times we're living in, really leveraging economic circumstances to benefit the consumer. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
And it's all about saving money, and it's all about, we did a lot of research and finding different ways to book for consumers. We found out, we figured out exactly what was lacking in the marketplace, and we took advantage of it. And we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep creating new areas. But that's what's exciting about being an entrepreneur. You have to do your homework. You have to figure out what people need and give people the tools and give people a site that gives them something different. And what we do is we give them better values. We make it really simple and easy.
Bob Diener, he's been our guest. He's with Getaroom.com. I'm so delighted to be able to talk to you. I appreciate your people sharing your story with our people, and look forward to watching as you grow. I'm going to ask my producer to chat with you after we end this segment, but thanks for your time today.
It's a pleasure being with you. Have a great day.
Been great. All right. It's been a great program. Delighted to be with you here today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great 4th of July, and look forward to being with you again for another Price of Business.